Welcome to Money Depth Insights. I am the finance guide, John Nell. Today we are talking about the biggest credit card mistakes people make, not from theory or online tips, but from real patterns I have seen again and again in everyday financial behavior. Credit cards are often presented as either dangerous tools to avoid or powerful tools to master. The truth sits quietly in between. Most people do not get into trouble because credit cards are confusing. They get into trouble because small decisions are repeated without awareness, and those decisions slowly compound into stress, debt, and lost control. What makes credit card mistakes so costly is not how dramatic they feel in the moment, but how invisible their consequences are at the beginning. One of the biggest mistakes people make is treating a credit card like extra money. This usually happens subconsciously, not deliberately. The credit limit feels like an extension of income, even when people know intellectually that it is not. The problem is not knowledge. The problem is emotional distance. When money does not leave your account immediately, spending feels lighter. That lightness encourages slightly higher spending, slightly more often, until the balance becomes something you react to instead of something you control. Over time, this pattern creates pressure without a clear moment where things felt obviously wrong. Another common mistake is focusing only on the minimum payment. Minimum payments are not designed to help you get out of debt quickly. They are designed to keep the account active and profitable for the lender. Paying the minimum feels responsible, but it quietly stretches repayment over years and dramatically increases interest paid. Many people believe they are managing their cards well because they never miss a payment, yet they remain stuck because the balance never meaningfully declines. This creates a false sense of progress that delays real change. A related mistake is not understanding how interest actually works. Interest does not feel aggressive at first. It grows slowly, quietly, and consistently. People often notice interest only when balances are already uncomfortable. At that point, frustration replaces curiosity, and decisions become reactive. The smartest credit card users learn how interest is calculated early, not to become experts, but to respect how quickly small balances can turn into long-term obligations when left unattended. Another behavior that causes long-term damage is using credit cards to solve cash flow problems instead of addressing the underlying issue. Credit cards can temporarily smooth timing gaps, but when they become a substitute for stable budgeting, they create dependency. Many people use cards to cover shortfalls while hoping income will catch up later. Sometimes it does. Often it does not. When income fails to rise as expected, the card becomes a permanent bridge instead of a temporary tool, and interest fills the gap. Overspending during emotionally charged moments is another mistake that rarely gets discussed honestly. Stress, celebration, boredom, and comparison all influence spending behavior. Credit cards make emotional spending easier because the consequence is delayed. The purchase feels good now. The bill arrives later. Without intentional reflection, this pattern repeats quietly. People often remember what they bought, but forget how they felt when they bought it. Credit card statements reveal patterns that memory hides. Many people also underestimate how dangerous it is to carry balances across multiple cards. Multiple balances divide attention and increase complexity. What feels like diversification often becomes confusion. Payments get scattered. Progress becomes harder to measure. Stress increases. A single clear strategy is far more powerful than juggling several balances with no clear plan. Simplicity reduces mistakes more effectively than motivation. Another major mistake is applying for new cards too frequently without a clear reason. New cards can feel like fresh starts or solutions, but they often reset discipline rather than improve it. Each new account introduces new due dates, new statements, and new temptations. Credit systems reward stability and predictability. Constantly opening accounts sends the opposite signal and often leads to fragmented control. Many people also misuse rewards without realizing it. Rewards are not free money. They are incentives designed to increase spending. The mistake is not earning rewards. The mistake is spending differently because rewards exist. When purchases are justified by points or cash back, spending quietly rises. Smart users earn rewards as a byproduct of existing behavior, not as a reason to change behavior. Another overlooked mistake is ignoring statements after payment. Statements are not just bills. They are behavioral reports. They show where money actually went, not where you thought it went. People who never review statements miss early warning signs. Small leaks grow unnoticed. Subscriptions pile up. Spending patterns drift. Reviewing statements regularly is one of the simplest ways to prevent future problems, yet it is one of the most neglected habits. Late payments are an obvious mistake, but the deeper issue is usually disorganization, not irresponsibility. People often miss payments because due dates are scattered and systems are unclear. Relying on memory creates unnecessary risk. Automation, reminders, and routine reduce mistakes far more effectively than willpower. Credit cards punish inconsistency, not intention. Another harmful belief is that closing cards always improves financial health. Closing cards can reduce available credit and shorten credit history, sometimes harming overall credit standing. The better question is not whether to close a card, but whether the card serves a clear purpose. Cards without purpose create distraction. Cards with purpose create structure. Some people also make the mistake of never using credit at all out of fear. While this may feel safe, it can limit future options. Credit history is a system of signals. Responsible usage builds reputation. Avoidance builds nothing. The goal is not avoidance or indulgence. It is controlled participation. A deeper mistake lies in expecting credit cards to behave morally. Credit cards are not good or bad. They are systems that respond to behavior. When people feel betrayed by interest or fees, it is often because expectations were emotional rather than structural. Understanding how the system measures risk and profit removes resentment and replaces it with clarity. Another issue is treating financial improvement as an all-or-nothing event. People often wait for a perfect moment to fix credit behavior. That moment rarely arrives. Small adjustments made consistently are far more effective than dramatic resets. Credit cards respond to patterns, not promises. One of the most damaging mistakes is allowing shame to prevent action. Many people avoid checking balances or statements because they feel uncomfortable. Avoidance increases stress and reduces control. Clarity, even when uncomfortable, restores power. Credit cards punish avoidance more than mistakes. Over time, the most successful credit card users develop a calm, neutral relationship with credit. They do not fear it. They do not worship it. They use it intentionally. They understand that credit cards amplify habits rather than create them. This awareness allows them to design systems that support stability instead of reacting emotionally. The biggest shift happens when people stop asking how to use credit cards better and start asking how they want their financial life to feel. Calm finances come from predictability, not perfection. Credit cards can support that calm when used with structure, awareness, and patience. If this discussion helped you recognize patterns you may have seen in your own life, share your thoughts in the comments. And if you believe this understanding can help someone in your colleague or friend circle, make sure to share it with them. Education grows when knowledge is shared. This video is created for educational purposes only. For more calm, practical, and long-term financial understanding, subscribe to Money Depth Insights. I am the Finance Guide, John Nell, and I will see you in the next session.